Listen this.
And you walk with your woman when nice. And you have to protect her. Self-defense. So you have to protect her. You're pretty, it's another. So imagine you apprehend fear and them things there. Well, Gladstone Williams said the man say a man was being attacked. And him just run in and beat up the neck. The man beat up the attacker. It turned out that the attacker was a police and them lock him up. Well, the court held that the appeal was allowed and the appellant's conviction was quashed. And hear what Lord Lane said. The reasonableness or unreasonableness of the defendant's belief is material to the question of whether the belief was held by the defendant at all. If the belief was in fact held, its unreasonableness so far as guilt or innocence is concerned is neither here nor there. It is irrelevant. So were it otherwise, the defendant would be convicted because he was negligent in failing to recognize that the victim was not consenting or that a crime was not being committed. And so, in other words, the jury should be directed, first of all, that the prosecution have the burden or duty of proving the unlawfulness of the defendant's actions. Secondly, if the defendant may have been laboring under mistake as to the facts, he must be judged according to his mistaken view of the facts. Thirdly, that is so whether the mistake was, on an objective view, a reasonable mistake or not. In a case of self-defense, where self-defense or the prevention of crime is concerned, if the jury came to the conclusion that the defendant believed or may have believed that he was being attacked or that a crime was being committed and that force was necessary to protect himself or to prevent the crime, then the prosecution have not proved their case. If, however, the defendant's alleged belief was mistaken and if the mistake was an unreasonable one, that may be a powerful reason for coming to the conclusion that the belief was not honestly held and should be rejected. Even if the jury come to the conclusion that the mistake was an unreasonable one, if the defendant may genuinely have been laboring under it, he is entitled to rely upon it. So, somebody said, don't break a hip. Donald Thompson, what's going on there? Forced to defend oneself of life. Yeah, it's reasonableness. So the mistake, though, once it is honest and it is honestly held, doesn't matter how people think objectively or how people feel, you're going to understand right away, immediately, that once you do that, they're going to make the assessment about the